Hello guys, this is Rahul here and I welcome you all in my this course AI Systems Design and MLOps, where we are going to take that raw data to AWS itself, right? And that is where end-to-end enterprise ML we are talking about. This is not any toy project. We are just going to write everything from scratch, from enterprise perspective, and going to see that how data flows in, how intelligence is built, and how systems are designed. And that is what in the end we are going to see that how values are delivered to users. So if you see that there are five different stacks here, right? So which is right from the data layer to ML models to we have this MLOps tooling, then serving, and then the cloud. So how it flows here is from left to right is pretty predominant, right? So you start with with patients visits and billing. These are the three multi-class systems which you are going to get, like 5,000 records with 25,000 entries as visits and billing operations, which is going to be part of that for financial analytics and operational analytics as well. So there you will be you are doing your first of all you are building this data layer where you will be applying your EDA analysis, feature engineering, and then you will be saving this model table CSV out of those after applying all that analytics on top of that, like what needs to be built and how it needs to be corrected from that data layer I'm talking about. Then it comes to that ML models piece, right? So where you will start building two different models, where in model A and model B is going to predict you that risk analysis and the claim outcome. Then your ML modeling comes into picture, wherein you're starting with baseline model where logistic regressions comes into play with random forest, which is the advanced model. And then we are going to have this production line model, which is the XG boost, which we are going to apply, which is with that high recall value of around 94%, and that is where you can see that 95.4% accuracy which you are going to achieve here. So this is what you are going to build it from scratch, and then we are applying to that MLOps tooling here as well. So the MLOps tooling is something which is is going to attach to that MLflow here itself. And this is where experiment tracking, DVC and DVC pipeline will come into picture. And these are all pretty important thing, like whether it's experiment tracking, that means promoting that model from staging to production, data versioning or data reproduction, or DVC pipeline, that means you whether to train that risk stage or claim stage and reproducible stage. So full retrain cycle you will get to see here. Then we are going to utilize this model artifacts, because we are going to save that risk and claim model, and we are also going to save that feature schema out of that. And then we start writing each and every step into the predictions log. So this is what your MLOps completely is capturing. Then we are going to build this serving layer, which is going to have this fast API, where in three APIs we are going to first of all create that, like which is going to be your predict risk, which you can see here, and predict claim, and then there is a health endpoint as well, which is going to give you a snapshot of that whether your application is live or not. Then obviously we are going to have this pedantic layer, which is going to do the validations, Gradio UI, which you can think of like the browser based demo for itself. And then obviously PSI monitoring. This is going to monitor the drift, and in case if there is any drift, how the MLOps feedback loops is going to work. So this is pretty important, and this is where your complete MLOps feedback loops gets triggered as well. So these are the things which you are going to see this live and build with me. And then we have this MLflow server as well, which is again for tracking the UI, which is going to have this model registry in place, which will be running on port 5000. And likewise in the end you are going to have this user response, which is going to be part of your going to see that in UI itself. And the final bit here is everything is going to be packaged and delivered into the cloud. In this case, we have chosen AWS as our cloud partner here, wherein every piece is going to be delivered over there. So whether it's Docker, then it's going to be pushed together in ECR, then EKS will come into play, and of course that CI/CD pipeline is part and parcel of this entire system. So this is where GitHub Actions will come into play, and then the live endpoint, which you are going to see that. And of course there is a retrain loop, wherein if there is any drift, reproduce that, and then the second version needs to be published there. So that is where your ML feedback loops comes into our picture. So I hope you are going to enjoy this journey with me, and believe me, this is going to be very exciting journey. We have, put together entire my effort, and this is where, is going to be complete production cut. What you are going to build in day-to-day journey in your enterprise, in your companies. Having said that, let's get started.